I'm right here.
You are? Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So, Marty is a market-driven job search coaching. Wait, my market-driven job search coaching shortens your journey. NSENG founder, CEO, LinkedIn trainer, resume interviewing, branding, value proposition, cover letters, ageism, networking. Wow, you do a lot. Um, so go ahead and introduce yourself because I know reading your LinkedIn headline probably is not the whole thing. And share one piece of insider knowledge that many job seekers might not be aware of, but would find incredibly helpful in their job search. And I know some people here have been asking about ageism. Okay. Anyways, you have the floor, Marty. Take it away.
All right. Well, thanks for the opportunity. I run in fact, 15 years ago, I started an accountability job search group with 5 other people. It grew from 6 to 12 to 25 and 100. I was in a job search at the time, and I've had the benefit of changing jobs quite a bit during my career. I worked for some great companies. But what started out with a small group of 6 people today is over 12,000 members. NSENG is the largest job search group in the United States. We've got over 12,000 members, but the most important metric is that we've had more than one member landing a job every day of the week for the past 7 years. There's a lot of activity going on in the group. I have events going on every 3 weeks. These are hybrid events. They're in person. I myself am based in Chicago, but I have members all across the country. One of the greatest things that came out of the COVID for me was that I became a global company overnight. So I have members out on the East Coast, the Midwest, and out on the western parts of the country. I speak frequently at university alumni associations, and I'm a frequent speaker at Harvard, Yale, Cornell, Howard University, NYU, a lot of the Big Ten schools, and those out west. So there's a constant influx of great talent coming into the organization. I've got a portfolio of 18 webinar recordings that are all job search related. Those are 90 minutes each. I've got 3 3-hour workshop recordings. And of course, job search coaching is the biggest part of what I do. Um, there's no end to the number of resources that are available. And, if I was to provide you with one piece of advice or insight that maybe you don't hear from a lot of other folks that are in job searches, is that you need to embrace and you need to adopt a what the hell approach to job search. Now, I applied with the U.S. Patent Department about 9 years ago for my what the hell approach to job search, and I've gotten it trademarked. And the concept behind this is what the hell do you have to lose by doing things that other job seekers are simply not doing? We know that there's anywhere from 1 to 200 job seekers going after every advertised job that you find on LinkedIn or Indeed or any of these other aggregated sites. There's a lot of competition, but you can get rejected by an applicant tracking system and still get an interview if you adopt some of these what the hell approach moves. The fact is that the job search is all about standing out. You've got to create visibility for yourself. It's a very crowded environment. And that's why I tell people that 90% of the job search is marketing. This is not an HR exercise. It's not a talent recruiting exercise. In fact, I tell people that if you're not looking for a job in HR, then the last place you want to go inside a company is to their talent recruitment department, because they don't have any budget, they don't have any influence, they don't make any hiring decisions, and they aren't really players at the table when it comes to deciding who's going to get a job. There's a reason why only 15% of all the hiring takes place because somebody answered an online ad on Indeed or LinkedIn or Career Builder. The hiring that takes place, over 75% of the cases, is because somebody networked their way into a company or somebody established a referral inside that company. It's one of the reasons why a lot of companies today don't even bother to advertise, because they can rely on their own employees to make recommendations. Now, the what the hell approach to job search is all about taking chances, because you can look and act like everybody else. and it may take you 9 or 12 months to find your next job. And nobody wants to have to wait that long. But I can tell you, just some of the moves that you need to take into account are the fact that you got to start high in an organization, as high as you can, because you got to get that trickle down effect that gets people wanting to know more about you. I know that 2 out of 3 job seekers don't write email cover letters, and that's a huge mistake because the cover letter does what a resume and a LinkedIn profile can't do. It opens the door and it enables you to control the story because you don't control the story in your resume and your profile because there's just so much content to read. But when you send out email cover letters to multiple people that are in the sphere of influence inside a company, that's where you start to get activity going in your favor. And you have to have an outbound target marketing campaign. Okay, the fact is that I've introduced a lot of products in my career. I worked for the largest advertising agency in the world very early in my career, and I worked in Japan. It was a Japanese firm, but we were promoting some of the most famous products in the world at that time. And so I helped bring to the United States products like the Sony Walkman, the VCR, the microwave oven. Of course, Toyota, Honda, and Nissan, they were all clients of ours, and every Japanese company you could think of. And whenever a new product is introduced, we have to determine what's the need in the marketplace, what is the issue that we're trying to address, who's the audience we're trying to reach, and how do we reach them. We do that for every new product, regardless of where you've worked. Okay, and I introduced a lot of new products when I worked at Motorola. But the fact is that looking for a new job and launching a new product require all the same skills. It's positioning, packaging, messaging, and targeting. You have to understand who your audience is, and you have to get you yourself, because now you are that new product. You have to create awareness for yourself. And so there's so many different ways in which you can create visibility. LinkedIn is a great tool to identify the target companies, and you should never limit yourself just to companies that have advertised jobs, because 30% of all the jobs are not advertised. And the fact is that when you build a target company list, you create so many opportunities to avoid those 200 to 1 odds. You may be the only person that's writing to that company because you want to promote the value that you bring and the way you can make a difference and a significant contribution to that company. And too many job seekers I see are all answering online ads, and it really limits their job search. And of course, if you like 200 to 1 odds, then that's a good way to deal with it. But I don't. And so every time I coach an individual, it's about standing out and creating a difference about you versus everybody else. And you've got to have things like branding statements and strong value proposition summaries. Sometimes the unorthodox approaches get you a lot better results, and it can very much, the mantra behind NSENG is we shorten your job search. Because the one question nobody can ever answer is how long is it going to take? And if anybody tells you they can get you a job in 6 weeks or 6 months, they're not being honest with you. It's an unknown. But I do know that you can shorten or quicken the pace at which you get activity going if you embrace some things that get you a lot more visibility. And that's where the marketing of the job search comes into play. So I hope that helps clarify some of the differences that maybe you're hearing from me versus other people that you've had speak to the group. But you've got to be honest with yourself, and part of that comes with you only need one job, but it's going to take you creating differential advantages versus your competition. And that's why I firmly believe that marketing is 90% of what it takes to land your next job.
Well, folks, we're gonna go to the Q&A session. So, Jim, if you could stop the recording.